Hey, Tommy from the Run Testers with another running shoe versus. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Asics Gel-Kayano 30 and the Saucony Tempus. I was sent the Asics Gel-Kayano 30 from the guys over at Sport Shoes. I'm not paid to do this review, so I can say whatever I want. But a big thanks to Sport Shoes for getting me this so that I could do this versus video. If you want to find out more about the Asics Gel-Kayano 30, head down into the comments below and there's a link to the website. Right, let's dive in and do the versus. The Saucony Tempus costs £170 or $160, weighs in at 263 grams or 9.3 ounces for men in a size 8, and the drop is 8mm. The Asics Gel-Kayano 30 costs £180 or $160, it weighs 300 grams or 10.6 ounces for men in a size 8, and the drop is 10mm. The Saucony Tempus is a shoe that aims to balance performance features with stability elements, giving runners that want a supportive ride the versatility to train comfortably across different sessions. That support comes from the combination of a contoured PWRRRUN frame and a deeper midsole design to hold the foot in place with a plush fit, along with a supportive midsole geometry and base. The PWRRRUN PB midsole, Saucony's soft and bouncy cushioning, works alongside the supportive design elements to deliver energy return and bounce without sacrificing control, while the form-fit upper gives a personalised fit across the length of the shoe. Other features include an XT900 outsole for grip and durability, a breathable mesh upper, and an adaptive lacing design. The Asics Gel-Kayano line has long been synonymous with all-out stability. For those runners looking for a high level of support, it's an option that sits at the top of the list, but has offered little versatility for runners who want a balance of stability, comfort, and enjoyment. The Asics Gel-Kayano 30 sees one of the biggest revamps the shoe has seen for a long time, featuring an increased level of cushioning, a new FF Blast Plus Eco Foam, and a 4D guidance system that aims to provide a more natural level of stability. The shoe also includes pure gel technology below the heel to add comfort and minimise impact, a stretchy engineered mesh upper for a better fit and breathability, and a generous layer of outsole rubber that includes sections of AHA Plus on the heel. Okay, so the fit for me in both of these shoes, I am a size 8 in the UK. These are both size 8s in the UK. I find them both to be very comfortable shoes. I would say that the Asics Gel-Kayano 30 is a slightly roomier option. It has a lot of padding in it. It's a shoe very much designed for comfort, a sort of plush feel to it, and there's a nice bit of wiggle room in the forefoot of the shoe. But it doesn't feel too roomy. The midsection of the shoe has a nice lockdown as well, so I think it's a very comfortable shoe, and I would definitely stay to my size in this shoe. Saucony Tempus, I would say to my size in this as well, but what I would say about it is that it's probably slightly more restrictive than the Gel-Kayano 30. Not massively, but I do think it's slightly more narrow shoe than the Gel-Kayano 30. I would still go to my size in this. I didn't have any major issues with the size of this shoe. I think it's absolutely fine, but worth noting that if you're really looking for the bigger option out of these two shoes. So these two shoes are stability shoes or support shoes of varying degrees, and support shoes is something that has seen quite a lot of developments in recent years and months. The old world of stability shoes tended to mean that shoes were quite bulky, they were really quite rigid, and if you were wearing a stability shoe, you knew it was a stability shoe. What's happening now though is that more and more brands are releasing stability shoes that have a varying level of stability to them, and the reason for that is not everybody needs the same level of stability. If you go and have your running checked, you might find out that you need stability shoes, but just having a few options, like in the old days where stability shoes were all very similar in terms of how they felt and what you'd get from them, is not really the case now, and there's lots of varying ways that stability shoes are being developed, and some of them are really just a touch of stability so that it just helps people out a little bit when they need it, but doesn't make it a full-on stability shoe. So these are two examples of shoes that really are an interesting development in the world of stability shoes. The Asics Gel-Kayano is a shoe that is historically associated with being a pretty hefty stability shoe. If you've tried some of the older Gel-Kayano shoes, you know they are stability shoes. They're pretty chunky, they feel very rigid, and they don't really offer any of the performance experiences that you might get from comparative shoes that don't have stability elements in them. That has changed with the Asics Gel-Kayano 30. There's quite a big overhaul in the design of this shoe, and it really does change the experience of the shoe for me. I've never been a massive fan of the Asics Gel-Kayano line. That's possibly because I'm not a runner that really needs a lot of stability. I'm told that I need a little bit when I've had my running checked, but when I've tried shoes like the Asics Gel-Kayano previous versions, it just felt so full on that I found with those shoes that I really couldn't run naturally in them. It felt like I had quite a hulking shoe on, and I didn't really need the level of stability that I got from them. The Gel-Kayano 30 really is a modern take on stability, and it still has a lot of stability in it, but the design of it, the foam in it, the way that it rides is very different than what I've noticed from the previous versions. It's actually feels more like something that you'd get like the Asics Gel Nimbus 25, which is a very nice, comfortable, easy run, long run shoe. And this delivers very similar to that. It's almost like a stability version of that shoe. And as a result, I've actually really enjoyed running in this. And I can't say that about the old Asics Gel-Kayano shoes. I've always found them to be very clunky and almost slow me down when I'm on the run, and not in a good way, not in a comfortable, nice way, but more like I've really carrying a big hefty bit of weight on my feet. The Asics Gel-Kayano 30 has an updated foam which is really nice, balanced. It's softer than what I would have expected from the shoe, and you can feel that when you're out on the run. There's a nice feel to this. There's a nice fluid motion. The stability element in it is equally, it feels a bit softer. It feels a bit more flexible. It feels like there is a bit more to the shoe when it comes to running naturally, and it's not really forcing your foot into that stability motion. And as a result, it works really well for somebody that doesn't necessarily need stability. The stability elements are there. They're helping you to run in a more supportive way, but you can still run in it like a normal cushioned running shoe, and it does a really nice job at that. So I've really been enjoying running in the Asics Gel-Kayano 30. Probably done about 60k in it so far. I've used it mainly for easy runs. I've used it for couple of longer runs, but really it fits nicely into that world of daily cushioned shoes where you just want to tick off a lot of miles and you're not going to be running that fast. I definitely wouldn't run fast in the Asics Gel-Kayano 30. Even though the design has made it a little bit more enjoyable to run in and a little bit less bulky feeling, it's still an all-out slow shoe. I run at about 5 minute 20 kilometers when I'm going out for an easy run or when I'm going out for a long run, and that's generally where I find this sweet spot for this shoe. If I go anywhere over that, if I go up to like 4 50-minute kilometers, this shoe just can't pick it up. I wouldn't go any further than those 4 minute 50 kilometers in the shoe. But I think it's a solid, comfortable, enjoyable shoe that is really nice development of the stability shoe world, especially when there is still a lot of stability in it. So this is still a great shoe for people who need stability. The Saucony Tempus is an interesting one because it sits at the other side of that spectrum of stability shoes. This is really a stability shoe which has a sprinkling of stability in it, but also it really delivers like a shoe that doesn't necessarily have stability in it. So I did a lot of training in this shoe when I was training for a marathon earlier in the year, and what I found about this shoe is that it doesn't feel like a stability shoe. It really feels like a daily shoe, and because of that, it's a lot more versatile. It's a shoe that if you wanted stability but you also wanted a shoe that you could do your daily training miles in and maybe pick up the pace a bit more in, this is a great option for that. It's really offering stability in a new way, which is really quite impressive. I would say that this shoe, I've done training interval sessions in this, I've done fartlek sessions in this. I haven't raced in this shoe, but what I found about it is that it can do a lot more. It really allows you to pick up the pace a bit. It doesn't feel like it's holding you back. It feels like it's a little bit nimbler than something like the Asics Gel-Kayano line. And as a result, it's a really nice option now for people that need a bit of stability, but don't want to go the whole hog and have a shoe like the Asics Gel-Kayano 30 and really just start sitting into that world of daily shoes with a bit of stability in. You can still tell that there's stability elements in there. It's not overpowering. It doesn't feel like it's making your foot do anything. It just feels like the shoe is very supportive. Your foot's really held nicely in place, and it's not a very rigid shoe either. It does flex quite a bit. It's quite a nice feeling shoe that is not far off from what you get from a lot of daily shoes. In some ways, it does feel a little bit like the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. There's some of the same technology in it. It isn't a performance shoe. It doesn't have that plate in it, but it does have some of the elements and the design that make it feel more like that sort of daily shoe that you can go and do quicker runs in if you wanted to. The thing I say about the Saucony Tempus is that it has a nice fluid transition. It feels quick, it feels responsive, and it's a very enjoyable shoe to run in if you want to pick up the pace sometimes. I just think it's a great daily shoe with a lot of versatility. The other thing I'd say is that the outsole is very good, very similar to what you find on a lot of other Saucony shoes. Good level of outsole rubber on it, good level of grip, and just works very well across lots of different types of road surfaces. So I've been very impressed with the Saucony Tempus so far, and it's the sort of shoe that I would happily pick this up and run with it, despite it having the stability elements in it. And I think that's a big thing with stability shoes these days and how it's developing. I think it's a good future for people who need stability shoes, because I think now we're starting to see a lot of the performance features that maybe haven't really existed in stability shoes before coming into shoes like this. That means that there's just a lot more variety when it comes to stability. The Asics Gel-Kayano 30 also has a really nice level of outsole rubber on it, good level of grip. I'd say the Tempus is better. I just think it's a little bit grippier, a little bit tackier, but there's still a nice level on the Asics Gel-Kayano 30, very good level of grip. So yeah, overall, two very good shoes in the stability world, and I've enjoyed running in both of them. So my verdict on Asics Gel-Kayano 30 and the Saucony Tempus is that they are both really good. I really like these shoes. I think they're a fantastic development of stability shoes, and I think they offer something that has been missing when it comes to stability shoes in the past. I think the Asics Gel-Kayano 30 is a great, solid, cushioned shoe with stability in it. That great for your long runs, great for your comfortable, easy runs, and just offers a nice level of support with a good level of foam responsiveness and just comfort on those runs, which I didn't get from the previous Gel-Kayano lines. I just think it's a very good shoe now, which is comparable with shoes like the Nimbus 25 and other ones as well. I think it's a good option, and I think it's a vast improvement on the previous versions. Saucony Tempus, I think, is just a really, really nice stability shoe. It's not got as much stability in it as the Asics Gel-Kayano 30, but you can feel it's supportive. You can feel it's holding your foot in place. So it's definitely a shoe that makes you feel secure, and you're getting those elements that you want from it. It's just a lot more versatile for me. So I think for me, the Tempus is the superior shoe. I think it's a fantastic addition to Saucony's line. It's really nice, by far the best stability shoe I think they now have. It's a really exciting one, and will work for a lot of runners who want a bit of stability but still want to have the ability to do those quicker runs and things like that. Whereas the Asics Gel-Kayano 30 is your out and out easy run shoe, long run shoe. So I think it really comes down to that. But if I had to really choose between them, I'd say Tempus is the best shoe out of these two. That's it from us. Thanks a lot for watching this Versus. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click that little bell. And if you go into the caption below, you can find a link to our most recent podcast that comes out at the end of each month. Also, a big thanks to Sports Shoes for getting me this Asics Gel-Kayano 30 so that I could test this. Head down in the comments and click on the link to find out more about the shoe. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you next time.